So while the defense did have somewhat of a rational reason, it did not meet a legal reason.
Why would Beyoncé board a secret midnight flight on a plane with no ID, carrying velvet pouches and sealed titanium cases? And what does "do not summon her in public" even mean? This isn't just an exit. Someone called it an extradition. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine a flight so secret even the official logs act like it didn't exist. According to one anonymous account, Beyoncé boarded a Gulfstream jet in the dead of night. No ID, no questions, and absolutely no record left behind. The jet, painted in a matte black finish, seemed custom-designed to disappear. The manifest, sealed tighter than a Grammy envelope. Witnesses described an odd, lingering floral scent, something almost hypnotic, as if even the air around the plane was meant to feel different. And then there was the crew, uniformed in matching gray coats with a strange hourglass insignia stitched on their lapels. They didn't behave like your typical flight staff. No pleasantries, no chatter, just silence, and one very strange instruction passed along beforehand. No tower pings. That basically meant no communication with any aviation control towers. It's not only abnormal, it's bordering on impossible in the aviation world. Planes are tracked, monitored, logged, period. Yet for this flight, nothing. It's like it ghosted its way into thin air. One confidant tried digging deeper, using thermal logs and checking external satellite feeds for any sign of activity. And guess what? They found absolutely nothing. The engines should have roared, created heat signatures, or left some kind of invisible trail, like a jet setting off a digital footprint, but it was like searching for a phantom in the clouds, not a single blip.
Then last September, Sean Combs was arrested and charged with sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion.
It's the kind of operation that feels less like a celebrity getaway and more like something out of a high-level covert mission. Think about it. What else could pull off something this clean? But the real eyebrow raiser comes in the form of what was loaded onto that plane. A titanium box, polished to an almost blinding sheen, and a small velvet pouch clutched so carefully it was as if they contained the blueprints to another universe. No one knows what was inside, but those objects clearly weren't some last-minute carry-ons. This was a setup that screamed calculation and purpose. And the last clue? A phone call to our source. 4 chilling words. That wasn't an exit.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he faces the possibility of life in prison.
About how he treated people in his orbit as prosecutors seek to prove that he was running a criminal enterprise.
An extradition? Now the big question, what's Beyoncé escaping? Or maybe, what's she heading toward? What if Beyoncé's secrets weren't buried in legal filings or dramatic press conferences, but trapped inside a blurry VHS tape? That's where things get strange.
Racketeering and transporting prostitutes. He denies all the charges. For the last 2 months, America has been gripped by the trial.
Judge, but Eva, I think today really put into focus the tension that the defense is trying to show between coercion and consent.
A courtroom sketch was reportedly discovered tucked away behind a hidden panel in what insiders are now calling the ghost lane, an area of the courthouse that doesn't appear on any blueprints. The image showed a shadowy courtroom scene, but instead of clear faces, one figure stood out, a woman with a blank face, except for 2 glowing dots for eyes. Was it Beyoncé? Maybe. The sketch came stamped with an unmarked envelope containing a single item, a VHS tape labeled Playback Session 9 for her ears only. Here's where it gets eerie. The VHS was lightweight but bone-cold to the touch, as if it had been plucked from a freezer instead of a courtroom. When played, the static slowly gave way to an unsettling scene. A red-lit room with a chair positioned dead center. A voice started humming softly. It sounded like Beyoncé herself, but the screen showed no one, just her shadow flickering across the wall. Then came the reverse playback. Words spilled out in reverse order, scrambled like some kind of audio puzzle, and just before the hum faded, whispers crept into the static. The loop, the hum, the reversal. It was less like watching surveillance footage and more like witnessing some sort of ritual.
Jersey, and the judge said that raised broader questions about his candor and whether he made a deliberate attempt to try and get himself seated.
And then came the twist. As the session played and rewound, it wasn't just Beyoncé's shadow anymore. Her form began to shift, almost imperceptibly at first, until another face started to emerge within the frame.
For this particular trial, and he said that could not stand.
Aaron, the defense has made arguments that this is racially motivated.
So while the defense did have somewhat of a rational reason, it did not meet a legal reason.
Diddy. His outline overlapped hers like an unsettling double exposure. You might think this sounds ridiculous, like the plot of a strange indie thriller, but it happened. And it ended with one last flicker, a cryptic message filling the screen. It read, "You played her back, now remember her forward."
And the judge also said it would be inappropriate for him to consider race when making the decision.
If this wasn't a reconstruction of events, what was it? A warning? A message meant only for Beyoncé? Or could it be a rehearsal for something far bigger?
Or anything like that. So as far as him being inside that courtroom, it was still the same old Diddy that we've seen, kind of in the same old outfit that we've seen him in as well.
Beyoncé's midnight exit and that cryptic playback session aren't just random moments. They're puzzle pieces, laid out in a way that feels too deliberate to ignore. What if this isn't about running away but staging something larger, something we're only catching glimpses of? The sealed titanium box, the humming static, the whispers. It all feels like the start of a narrative where reality and performance blend until we can't tell them apart. So ask yourself this: what if this isn't an escape, but the overture to a much bigger act? In a world of quiet moves, maybe Beyoncé's hum is the loudest sound yet.